Well, hello, Brooklyn. My name is Isra Pananon. I'm one of the co-hosts along with my better half, Julia Weeks. We are co-hosts of Navy Yard Neighbor, Brooklyn. And actually, we are broadcasting today from my hometown of Burtonsville, Maryland. We have a very, very, very special guest today. Her name is Camille Johnese, CEO, creator, candle making extraordinaire of Mystic Kreations, and she's here today to share with us her gifts and her talents and her passions. Let me bring her on the screen so you can see her. Oh, here we go. Hey!
Hey!
So thank you so much for joining us today. I wanted to, you heard my introduction of you, but I should tell people how we met because it's actually very special. I am in the Army Reserve, and so is Sergeant Johnese. So that's how we met. But I think we developed a bond because we're both just, I don't know, cool people. So I'll leave it like that. But anyways, I told her that we're starting this neighborhood beat called Navy Yard Neighbor BK, and we really want to highlight businesses in New York or available to Brooklynites. And so here she is. She's willing to do it. And so thank you for being with us today. So tell us who you are, where you're from. Tell us about yourself and, what brought you here today.
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for having me. And so, again, I'm Camille Johnese. I'm originally from Louisiana. I am the owner of Mystic Kreations Co., which is a small business that focuses on creating products for healing. So candles, scrubs, salts, and, moving forward in the future, we'll have a wide variety of other things. I like outdoors activities. I love hiking, swimming. I like to be outside running. I love working out. I like being active. Of course, I like working with my hands. On the Army side, I fix things. So I really just like working with my hands. And that's pretty much me.
Well, thank you for that introduction. And yes, I will say that Camille is a commo person, right? So she's ironically, right? She's the telecommunications person that keeps us all connected. And so, I find it ironic that we're doing this today. So, so we have some people watching us from, across the country. And I saw Tim is on saying hello to us and a few others. So, if you're watching out there, tell us where you're watching from and just what brought you here today. And we'll keep moving along. So you started your candle company not too long ago, right? So that was about, a few months ago. And tell us a little bit more about how that came to be and I guess, why you were like one day woke up and was like, I'm going to start my candle company.
So it's been in the works for a while now. We've been fully operational for about a month or so. I recently celebrated my month of being open. And basically earlier this year, I went through something pretty traumatic, and I kind of hit, I guess, what people will call like rock bottom. And I was looking for a way to get through that and like fight through it. And because this was something that's harder than anything else that I've ever been through in my life. And I just started getting these ideas. I started getting back into my meditation practice very heavily. I started journaling to like write through my feelings. And through that process, I started having all these ideas of creating candles, of course, because that's the main product that everything started with is candles. And so I started having these ideas of, how the candles will look and how they would smell and the elements that are going into the candles. And so I just kept writing everything down. And then, one day I decided to just go for it. And I made my first candle. And the process of making that first candle was so therapeutic for me because I was able to tune out the world and like go into myself and spend time with myself and love on myself and have, in a sense, some meditation time and some me time. And it was very healing. And I knew, from that day that I wanted to continue doing it and I wanted to share those things with other people.
I think that's so inspirational that you were just like, this is part of your healing journey, and that especially inspiring because you want to share with all of us. So let's can I just ask, and this might be a dumb question, but like, did you literally Google like how to make a candle, how to do smudge sticks, like, or did you like kind of have that knowledge from someone else? Like, how did that transpire exactly?
So part of it was me. I knew like the basics, right? I knew I had to have wax, and I knew I had to have wicks, and I knew I had to have a container, right? But some of it I did have to like Google like flash points for the wax. Like when is the wax hot enough to pour, and different things like that. And then also I am really into herbal remedies and things like that, like everything natural. I believe that the earth provides everything that we need. So that's also an element that I do add, to my candles. I add herbs, I add flowers and things like that. And so what I started doing was researching the essential oils that I put in. What are the healing benefits? Like the literal benefits, like if they touch your skin, what do they do? If you breathe them in, what do they do? But also the spiritual benefits of them. And the same thing with the flowers. Like, what do these flowers represent? What are the meanings behind this? Because everything that I create, and this is on my website, everything that I create has intention behind it. So I just wanted to be very intentional. And so I did do a great amount of research, and every product that I create, I do, extensive research behind it to make sure that I'm giving people exactly, what the intention is behind that creation.
So let's I love that, and I love that you really put your passion and your energy into it. Let's talk a little bit more about the building of it. So I know you said you have a container and then you have wax, right?
Right.
Like to me, I'm like like it makes sense, but like I wouldn't even gotten that far. Then you have like a wick, right? So like, what does that look like? Is it you?
So you kind of just figure, okay, what kind of wax do I want, right? Most people use like beeswax. It's a little, less expensive, but it's not environmentally friendly, right? So I actually use soy based because that's more eco-friendly. So then you have to learn the properties of soy wax, right? Is it a soft wax and things like that? So you have your wax, and then you need your wick. Well, what kind of wick burns the best with, soy wax? So do you want hemp? Do you want cotton? Things like that. You have to have something to stick the wick in the container. You got to have a container, so do you want a jar? Do you want aluminum containers? Things like that. I find that glass and aluminum actually works best. And then, like I mentioned earlier, you have to know like what's the melting point of your wax and things like that. But you put all those elements together, you can even add fragrance. For my candles, I use all natural essential oils because, again, all of my products are naturally based and holistic. But, there are fragrance oils that you can add. So you have to figure out when to add that. But you put all those elements together and you make something beautiful. And then you can decide if you want to decorate it with something, if you want to put colors in it, So it's not an overly complicated process. But, again, everything with intention. You always want to know, one, who you want, what's the purpose for this candle? Is it something that I'm making for myself at home? Is it something that I want to gift somebody with? But it's not overly complicated at all. It's really simple, at its core. And then you build on it and make it whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, I like the concept of building. Right, you start with something, and then you really think about like the purpose, and then you build it off that. So
Exactly.
you sent us some beautiful pictures, and I want to put those on the screen. And I'm hoping Julia will get on that behind the scenes right now. But I would love to like put them up and what this like. What is the purple flower and the looks like a smudge stick next to it?
Yeah, so this is actually one of my newest creations. This one is just called a Forget Me Not Mini. It's called Forget Me Not because the flower in it is a forget me not. I actually created this one recently. I had a battle buddy slash mentor from Louisiana who was actually killed a couple weeks ago, actually. And one day he was on my mind. The funeral was a few days ago, and he was on my mind very heavy. And I started thinking about one of my uncles, incidentally. And, again, going back to how creating heals me, I wanted to create my way through it. And I had the idea for this. And so forget-me-nots are a flower that are typically used for like funerals. And they're usually used by people who have like ancestral altars as well as homage to their ancestors. So hence the name Forget Me Not. And that's why Forget Me Not is included in this. And there's also some sage there, just to clear the space, clear the energy, and welcome in that presence. If if that's what you want to do. So, yeah.
Love that. And we have a comment from Matthew McKenzie saying these are profoundly gorgeous. Love that. Thank you, Matthew, for saying that, because I think so too. And also because I forgot to mention that it's Father's Day. And as you know, my dad recently passed away. So I really love that you sent the Forget Me Not candle or inspiration, because I don't know, that is just everything happens for a reason, right? So
Yeah,
thank you. It's really beautiful. Okay, so tell us about these. Are these bath salts?
This is actually new as well. Yes, it's bath salts. So there's wildflowers, rose tip oil, some eucalyptus, and pink Himalayan salt. This is all about taking a relaxing bath and cleansing yourself. Epsom salt is also in it. A lot of humans are actually, we're a little bit sodium deficient naturally. So when you take a bath in Epsom salt, it helps to replenish that mineral along with a few others. And so that's what the Epsom salt and the Himalayan pink salt does. And then, of course, the essential oils that are in it, like the eucalyptus, is just to take you to a place of, relaxation. So.
And again, a dumb question. You just literally put it in your bath water, and it just does the magic, right? Like
you just pour it in, and it does the magic. Put it in some warm or hot water, however you like your water, and just let it, take you on a journey.
Oh, it looks like we have a comment from Janet Weeks, who I'm calling future mother-in-law. Thank you very much. She says, can't wait to order some of these. Do you ship out of town, or is it just local to the New York and New Jersey area?
Hi, Janet. So yes, I do ship all over. If you go to my website, which I'll give here in a little bit at the end, you can browse and give me your shipping information, and I'll be happy to make some things for you and ship them.
Awesome. And I think, here's our last picture, and I think it says smudge. Mm-hmm. But this is a candle, right?
This is a... It is. It's a candle for smudging. So typically people like to use, just sage. But of course, I wanted to make a candle for that purpose. So there's sage. There's which is known for, again, clearing negative energy. Hyssop, which is actually used for certain rituals, protection, things like that. So one element of being protected is, of smudging is being protected. So that's why the hyssop is there. And then there's some chamomile flowers and some sage oil in there, just to bring it all together and clear out your space. So.
Looks like we have some highs and hellos from Linda. Hello. I want to say hi out there. And then Janet said thanks. And I think Matt McKenzie said he was ready to get his rubber ducky. So good job on that. I hope you get some orders. So moving on, and not to dampen the mood, but there's lots of things going on in the world, and lots of really hard things, right? We have like the COVID-19 crisis, and then we have all of the Black Lives Matter protests, which are protests, obviously protesting the things that have been going on in the world since like the 1600s, right? And so I don't want to be too in depth about like, thank you so much for coming to the show. This is but like, we really want to center Black voices. And so if you're comfortable, we just wanted to say like, thank you for being on, but B, just like we wanted to ask you if you're comfortable, like how has this affected you personally, but you as like a businesswoman and trying to launch Mystic Kreations, and like, is that inspiring? Is it tough? Is it a way to deal with, like you said, you're dealing with trauma? Like, how has all of this affected what you're doing right now?
So it's definitely been tough. It's definitely had some significant ups and downs along the way. I'm still very thankful because I do get orders constantly. And before like all of the, protests and everything started, business was booming. And then it slowed down a little bit, but I understand why. And I'm actually thankful for the fact that it slowed down a little bit because as business started slowing down, I needed that time to reset and recharge. I've been having to take a lot of social media breaks because the energy has been very heavy and it's just a lot. It's overwhelming. And I feel like, you know, I love peace and harmony and I love love and I'm all about, positive energy. And so to see the world in this state is kind of disheartening. But, ultimately I'm still thankful because I do have my creation. Even if I'm not selling something, sometimes I'll just, get in here and make some things because that's the mood I'm in, and again, re-emphasizing what I said at the beginning of the broadcast, I create my way through my stress. This has become the ultimate outlet for me. And I'm thankful to have it because it helps me manage my stress. It helps me manage my anxiety. It helps me to not get depressed, and I get to tune into my thoughts if I want to. I get to tune out of my thoughts. I can put on some music and create, and, just find myself in a better space when I'm done. And also, when I do create my products, I get to send them to somebody else and I get to send them some healing and I get to send them some light and some love, which I feel like we all need right now. So.
Snaps for that, sharing the light and love. And it's really inspiring to me because I feel like I've said inspiring a lot because, well, I was just talking to actually Janet about how our generation, which you're a lot younger than me, but we don't make things anymore. Like a lot of us, don't sew or don't do a lot of the crafts and things that, I think, well, should not say old school folks, but like, back in the day, like that was the way of life, right? Like something's broke, you fix it. These days now it's like something's broke, let me go order on Amazon, right? And let me get a replacement. And so I really think it's like ingenuity, like that on your part to like, just like, I'm going to, instead of like feeling stressed or do whatever, like I'm going to make my candles. I'm going to, spread some love in the world. And especially during this time is much needed. So let's just turn it to the folks out there. And I saw Paula is watching from Tallahassee, Florida. Thank you for joining us, Paula. If there's any questions from the field, just say hello. I kind of wanted to also, maybe this is a surprise question, but talk about service in this time. Clearly, I started active duty with you, and like, how is also that going? So let me back up for everybody in the world. Being you're an active guard reserve, which means you're on active duty, but a lot of folks, again, that's for the reserve. They don't like know that we're part-time soldiers. They don't know that it's like you have a civilian job and then you serve full time. So I want to ask just A, how's that going? And B, has this like kind of, you just come home and like do this afterwards? Like, how do you balance the day?
So right now we're still actually like teleworking mostly. There are some days that I do have to go into the office, but overall, I just set my schedule. I'm a planner. I like to be organized. So I use my planner and I block off my time to do everything. So I have time for candle making. I have time to prepare orders if I need to ship. I have time to go to the post office. And, no matter what my day looks like, whether I'm home, whether I'm in the office, because I mentioned that I like to work out, and also working out is a part of my duty as a soldier. So I have to block off that time as well. So I have to just make sure that I prioritize my tasks throughout the day. And while, it might seem challenging, once you make it a routine and make it a habit, that's all that it is. So to me, it's just like, starting my business, I've just added another element to my schedule, right? And if I have to move some things around, I move them around as needed. But, this is something that I really have a passion for. So I'm always going to make time, even if that means I have to stay up late at night, or whatever. So because we will be going back into the office soon. And, my evenings will be, creating, making, filling orders and things like that. And I'm perfectly fine with that because, now that I've, gotten into a routine of operating my business and I see where things are going, this is my passion, but also my dream because I would like to see it continue to grow. And I understand that in order for it to grow, I have to continue putting in the work that's necessary and be disciplined. That's part of being a business owner. So.
Actually, two last questions. Number one is Julia wants to know, how long does it take to make a candle?
So my products are small batch, meaning I make between 5 and 10 candles at a time only, because that's how you yield like the highest quality. And it typically takes me 30 minutes to an hour per batch, depending on how, complex the candles are, what the customers might order. Because I do offer like custom candles. I also offer like to add crystals to candles and different things like that. And smaller candles take less time to dry and, different things like that. But between 30 minutes to an hour it takes.
Yeah, which is like, in my head, that's like like that can be a long time or it can be a little time depending on like how you're feeling. Okay, so, and not to switch gears, but the going back to some of the themes we discussed today with just like trauma and healing and personalization of the candles and things going on in the world, like if you could send a message to the world right now, what would it be?
Keep healing. Embody love. Give everybody love. Send everybody light. Be gentle to others. Be gentle and kind to yourself. Make time for yourself. Make time for your healing. Spend time with the people that you love and tell the people that you love because tomorrow is not promised for any of us.
I hear that. And no, thank you so much for that gift and that message, because I think a lot of people need to hear it, including myself. So let's talk about the special code you created for Navy Yard Neighbor, and tell us where to find yourself. Like, so you're on Instagram, you have a webpage, like give us all the details.
Yes. So for my viewers today, I actually created a special discount code, and it's Navy Yard, all caps and all one word together. And that is for $5 off a $10 or more purchase on my website. My website is www.mystickcreations with a K co.com. My Instagram is Mystic Kreations Co. And yeah, that's it. I also do have an Etsy store as well, which is etsy.com/shop/Mystic Kreations Co. And then,
No, sorry, no, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say that's awesome that you're on Etsy. And out of curiosity, like, so is it better just to order directly, or do you have a preference of like how folks order, so we can just put that out there?
Oh, I was actually going to say that. Yes. So I don't mind because I do have a personal Instagram as well. And it's the Camilla, Camilla Joe. I take orders directly on all platforms, like through Messenger, or you can feel free to go to my website. I don't mind. I accept, all orders anyway. So.
Awesome. Well, you heard it from yourself, from Camille Johnese, that we are love and healing and self-care in the world. And I definitely echo that message. Again, thank you for being with us today. I actually learned a lot more about candle making than I had, ever. You feel like you buy these things over the years and like you really don't know how they're made. So
Right.
we really admire you for putting a lot of love and care and attention into them. And I hope everyone out there takes the time to go to the website, order, support Black businesses, support this awesome young woman. And, I can't even thank you enough for just being you and being an awesome friend, for your service to our country, and just spreading love and joy. Looks like we got a comment here. Matt, this is the type of love and guidance that'll heal our nation, one heart and mission at a time. 100%. So thank you again. Well, we'll catch up later date. And thank you for being a part of Navy Yard Neighbor. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye.